Buff spell. New mechanics, it's their interrupt spell, being able to kick ass and knock things back and break them out of what they're doing. They got a bunch of interrupts. Pretty good at crowd control too. Well, those PlayStation, instead of fighting here, what we'll do is we'll jump up to the end boss, beat him up, and this is what people can do on the show floor. And if we have time, I'll actually show you some of the zone beyond it that we're not doing publicly yet. So by now you're like level 6, you know, you're getting tough, but you're still kind of early on. It's maybe like an hour and a half or so into the game. Most people on the show floor probably won't make it this far, I'd be surprised. They have a 40-minute timer ticking now. We cheat. And this combines things with a bunch of new threat mechanics, moving ones. You know, they do a big missile attack, which puts random ones around, so you have to dodge in and out of them. Sort of tying together a lot of the little things and teaching you new mechanics, making it more complex over time. And this isn't like raid boss, this is some solo content, you know, low-level stuff. Raid bosses get really hard. Here it is. Got it. 6 hit points, man. There you go. For fighting bosses, often you can get bonuses. If you kill them particularly quickly or skillfully, you get epic bonuses. Bonuses as well for handling them in a particularly fast fashion. In this case, this is the end of where the demo goes. You know, now you get on your ships, you've saved everyone, you don't get shot down finally. It's time to move on to the next zone. And we disable that on the show floor. We're doing okay for time. 5 minutes? I'll show us the super sneak peek. Any questions? Things I can dig into? Show.
You said that you changed the world, like when the plane crashed.
Yep.
So you do phasing, or how do you do it?
So we do a bunch of things. We do phasing, where we can do it just for one person. We can change the terrain itself, which means we can change the polygons. You know, actually the geometry. We can add new objects. We can do new spawns. As often as possible, we do it so that everyone can see it, so that we feel like we make an impact on the world. If we're telling a story, often we'll do it. Instance, one at a time, phased.
What can you say about the payment model?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, we're not
Nothing
talking payment model. We're not talking ship dates. And part of that's because we're an iterative team. We kind of do it make sense.
Okay.
We're AAA MMO. AAA MMOs do as a rule. The next zone. This is Alvarok. Not available on the show floor. This is level 6 through 12 on the Defiant side. In this area, you rapidly clear out a bunch of bandits or things. You can see the floating crystals out there. This is called Loftype. It makes people levitate when you get near it. So it's all low gravity. You get to bounce up the cliffs, super jump, all that kind of thing when you're near Loftype. It's so powerful it can actually pull big chunks out of the world as well. And so this area is covered in floating rocks and things. As the Loftype is, drag stuff out of the world. It's a big open world. From here you can walk anywhere else. Once you're outside of the newbie zones, it's unlocked. You get to go do now whatever the heck you want. It's a big ass open world. There's a minefield down there where you can see guys blowing up in it. Environmental hazards as they were. The key is content everywhere. No matter where you go, there's stuff to do. You go up the hill, if you get to the right area, hey, there's a hidden area up there. You can unlock, get back there, and there's explore content and stuff hidden there. There's ships crashing. Hey, we crash ships all the time. In a lake, you can get out. The key about these areas is make sure there's things for you to do everywhere, and then layer things deeply on them. And keep it variety. Players get bored of killing the same 10 rats over and over again. Give them more things to do at the same time, and give them different things to teach and do about it. We got time? Questions? Our game has become fun. We actually play our game for fun now. It's a nice place to be as a developer. We want to round that corner.
How about the difficulty? If more people play, the enemies should get more difficult.
If more people jump in a public quest, they get tougher. If it's not in a public thing, if it's not set up to be for a mass fight, then it stays the same, so that it's easier to kill. The reason why is that for things like the public quest, the big bosses and things you're fighting, they're meant to kind of attract people, but you don't want it getting trivial if everyone's around. But for solo content, it's a bummer if you can't kill something and you bring your friend in to help and now it got tougher and you can't kill it. Yeah. And so that's the trade-off we tend to do with solo content. Doesn't scale and group content scales. That's our mix, but we iterate too, so
Yeah.
if it, we make it be fun.
Is there any kind of PvP?
Any kind of what?
PvP.
PvP, yes. We're not showing any of it because we haven't polished it. It's all ugly as hell currently, but it's in there. Plans are basically for sort of full PvP, in a variety of styles. We have our own kind of takes on it using some of our interesting technology tricks we have, but we're just not talking about it yet.
Okay.
When we have it, it's fun and we can show it, we'll talk about it. We try usually to talk about stuff where, like, if we can prove it, we'll do it. If not, then, we're not fans of hype. We've all sat through it enough. We've occasionally generated it.
Does the paths influence the PvP? I mean, if I'm an explorer, there's a warrior.
No, I'll give you an honest answer on that. We're going to experiment with it and see how it works. At the moment, it's limited, but we'll probably muck around with it and see how we can make it interesting. We try to have your path influence what you do, whether you're in a group, whether you're solo, dungeon, raid, all that kind of stuff. There's parts of it, but it's different each of those. And PvP is something we haven't done enough yet to really talk about deeply. But killer question. In general, we try to have it influence kind of everything with it.
And what about a friends list or a guild or something like that?
Not talking details on it yet. Short form is, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of work to do, right?
What's that?
Sounds like a lot of work you have to do.
Oh, yeah.
When do you plan coming out?
We're not talking ship date yet. And if I were talking it, I would be lying because we just make it fun. When we have hundreds of hours of content, we have good elder games in there, and it's solid to play stem to stern, ship. It's really whenever that is. My bosses would like to have a firm date on that, of course, too.
A personal question. As a gamer, is the game you would like to play?
Yes, absolutely. We're making the game we want to play. Now, it's why we focus a lot on making sure hardcore gamers can enjoy even the early stuff. It's because it's boring. You go into an MMO and you kill 10 goblins for the 50th time. We've done it before, And so what can influence you, even at the early level, what can challenge you is an interesting question. Because when your mom plays, she's got to be able to kill those 10 goblins too. And so what can we do to make it interesting? We put a lot of work into making it fun for us. And we're mostly hardcore.
And will it be multi-platform or a Mac version or something like that, or is that still being thought of? Or
still being thought of, but the short form is we're PC first. Well, you got boot camp now, it's real easy. We haven't finalized yet whether or not we're doing Mac. We won't do console or PC first.
okay.
My background is a Mac programmer, and so I have my own bias in this too. So I hear you screaming.